Is your vinyl siding starting to look a little tired, just in need of a good cleaning? A little unsure on just how to go about doing that? Well, in today's video, we're going to show you how easy it is to power wash your vinyl siding. We'll take you through some of the equipment that we use, we'll show you some techniques on how to do it, as well as some products that we use. So let's get washing. So one of the first things you want to do before you even get the equipment out and get water on your house, you want to take a walk around and look at a few things. Look for any damage, look for areas that the mold that you got on it is really heavy that you're going to have to address. You also want to make sure your windows are closed. Look for any electrical outlets. Make sure they're powered down, and whether it's a ground fault or not, make sure it's turned off inside of the panel. This is a vent for your air exchanger, but it could be for your dryer or a range hood or whatever. But anytime you get into your venting, you're going to want to cover that over. Just seal it up with some tape and a plastic bag, just enough to keep the water from going into it. So as well, if you've got a lot of grass growing up around that bottom edge, trim that out first. And speaking of things growing on the ground, if you've got flower beds or gardens, you'll want to cover those. You're going to be rinsing with a soap solution, so you do not want that getting on your plants. The other thing you'll want to consider when you're pressure washing is where's the sun? Ideally, you don't want to be doing it in direct sunlight because it will dry your soap solution so quick it makes it hard to get off. So plan your pressure washing so that you're working in the shade and working your way around ahead of the sun at all times. So now that we've covered off all the things you have to be aware of before you start to use your pressure washer, now we're going to talk about all the cool tools you're going to be using. You can either have a gas-powered pressure washer or you can go with an electric. Both will do the job fine. It's whatever you happen to have in your home already, or perhaps you're looking to rent. You'll tend to find with gas engine pressure washers, you'll probably go to get ones that have a little higher pressure ability for doing some of those really tough jobs. But for the average homeowner doing vinyl siding, either one of these products work just fantastic. As well, you'll find most of these all have a tank attached to them. This way you can put your cleaning solution in. If they don't have a tank attached, they will have a supply line which you can put into your bucket of cleaner that'll suck that cleaning solution in and dispense it onto your house. Gas-powered pressure washers, they're kind of ideal because you can take them anywhere around your property in order to use. Electrics are great, a matter of just plugging into your house. The only thing that can limit you is the length of the cord and the amount of hose you have in order to get around. As long as your water supply will reach it, you're good to go. So we talked about the pressure washers themselves. Now we're going to share a few tips on tips. And what I mean by that is there's a variety of tips you can use with your pressure washer for different applications. So there's two that we primarily want to use. We want to use the black one for washing. That's putting our material on. And then we want to talk about something for rinsing. And you can either use your white one or your green one. Ideally, green is the most common that you use, but if you're not really comfortable or it's your first time using a pressure washer, you may want to use the white one. It's a little more gentle and less chance of really pounding your siding too hard. If you're looking to do something at some point with your pressure washer that's working on concrete or really hard surfaces, then you'd want to be moving up to your yellow or finally to your red, which is for stone and concrete. Ideally for today, we're just going to be using our black and our green. So the last thing we want to touch on before we actually get to washing the siding is some of the detergents you can use. Today we're going to be using a commercial type cleaner that's good for all-purpose use, but it's ideal for vinyl siding and it's not harmful to anything that's around it. We're lucky today that we don't have anything as far as flower beds or gardens in around the base where we're going to be cleaning, so we don't have to look at the other options that are out there, such as chlorine bleach is one that a lot of people like to use. The chlorine will discolor your siding, and if you get any on your clothing, it's going to spot it up and take the color right out of it. Now there is an option for an oxygen bleach, which doesn't have the chlorine in it, which is less likely to harm your siding or your clothing, so that's one option. There is an all-natural choice as well, which is just basically a mixture of vinegar and water. So it would be 2 parts water, 1 part vinegar, and that works very well. But myself, I like to use this kind of a cleaner. I find it gives the best option. So now we're ready to start power washing. So what we want to do is put our soap solution in. We've done our pre-check on the compressor already, and you always want to make sure you do that. Check to make sure there's oil in the engine. As well, you'll have your water line hooked up. You'll always want to make sure you're using cold water only. As well, you've got to get your wands rigged up. So you're going to want to add some extension rods to your wash wand. So just screw them together till you get a nice tight connection. So now we're ready to make our selection of tips. So we're going to start with our wash and soap solution tip, which is our black one. I'll just insert that into our wand. Now, first thing we're going to do when we wash is start from the bottom and work our way to the top. And then when we go to rinse it off, we're going the other way, from the top to the bottom. So now we're all set to pressure wash, and I just want to take a mention to a few safety tips. Ideally, because you're working with high pressure water, and yes, it's water, you're going to get a little bit wet, but you want to make sure you're wearing safety glasses. You don't want any of that spray coming back and getting in your eyes. And myself personally, I like to use rubber gloves just so that I don't wind up with a whole lot of after spray showing up on my hands. So let's get this thing fired up and wash this house. So we've got the wall all washed off and rinsed with soap. We've let it set now for a few minutes just to do its thing. Now we're going to rinse it off. We're going to switch over our black wash nozzle to our green rinse tip and give it another go. Whoa! So there we've got the house all power wash. It was pretty easy to do. You do your walk around, you get set up, and you put on your soap solution, let it do its magic, then go back and rinse it. To be honest, it's kind of fun. Whoa! It's nice to do a project in which you can so readily see the results of what you're doing, and you can't beat that. We really hope that the tips we showed you on how to wash your vinyl siding give you the confidence to do your own. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.